بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Continue inshallah the book of the in the Hajj. We were talking about the fidya, and the fidya here, which is the requirement of expiation when a violation or a shortcoming happen in the rules or in the requirement of the ihram. So the fidya, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, for those who has to, to shave their hairs or commit any of the forbidden acts during the ihram, they pay the fidya. And we said the fidya has a different aspect. The fidya related to the forbidden acts during the ihram, like cutting the finger and the toenails, shaving the hair, those that we have mentioned, they have fidya to at-takhyir, which is the fasting or the feeding or the nusuk. And then the other fidya concerning the intercourse, and we have mentioned that. So that's in Bab al-Fidya. That's in Bab al-Fidya. The second paragraph in Bab al-Fidya, يقول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى, or I can read the Arabic. If you have any question, please ask, a question concerning the chapter that we have mentioned. قال باب الفدية يخير بفدية حلق وتقليم وتغطية رأس وطيب ولبس مخيط بين الصيام 3 أيام أو إطعام 6 مساكين لكل مسكين مد بر أو نصف صاع تمر أو شعير أو ذبح شاة. Option or the choice in paying the fidya when someone will shave or cut finger or toenails or cover the head or put fragrance or he wear the makhit, he had the choice to correct that between fasting 3 days or feeding 66 needy people, 66 needy people. For everyone, muddu burrin أو نصف ساعٍ or half of a sa', and we mentioned the conversion of that in kilogram. But we said that after the tahqiq of the analysis will be the same amount of nisf sa', which is analogy to what someone had to pay to the zakat or have the nisf sa'. قال وبجزاء صيد بين مثل إن كان, and then for the side, the hand, someone who killed an animal in the time of the ihram, then he has to compensate that by an equal in size or in a way like an equality that will be judged or evaluated by specific expert that we're going to see inshallah in the next chapter, to be slaughtered and offered in al-haram, or to evaluate this animal into money and to give it is either to feed or to fast for every mud يوما. وأما دم متعة وقران فيجب الهدي فإن عدمه فصيام 3 أيام والأفضل كون آخرها يوم عرفة 7 إذا رجع إلى أهله والمحصر إذا لم يجد هديا صام 10 ثم حل. For the sacrifice required or related to the muta and the qiran, that's the hadi. So someone can afford the hadi, he will have to fast 3 days, and he said the best will be the last day in Arafah, and we mentioned that Arafah, it will be recommended to fast for the Hajj, so he'll have the 3 days of the Tashriq will be enough days for the person to fulfill the requirement of the 3 days of fasting, and then he will continue other 7 days to complete the 10 days, and these 7 days will be when he will go back to his family, and then it started from when he finished the Hajj. والمحصر إذا لم يجد هديا صام 10 ثم حل صام 10. And then we also mention about the one who cannot be able to get to the haram and he has to undo his ihram, he has to offer a hadi. And here he said if he will not find, he will fast 10 days. And we mentioned that also in the analysis of some scholars that he will not have to fast. And that's already, we have mentioned that. Whoever who wants more details about that, he can go to the lecture of last week. ويجب بوطء في فرج في الحج بدنه وفي العمرة شاه وإن طاوعته زوجته لزمها أو لزماها. ويجب بوطء in case of an intercourse, in the time of the Hajj, so the Hajj will be void, but they have to pay a badana, a camel, and in the Umrah will be shah. The shat is in this case a sheep or a goat. And if she will be, the spouse will be agreeing, then she has to pay too. If not, no. طيب. Now we're starting from here. This is where we have stopped last time. قال ومن كرر محظورا من جنس ولم يفدي فدى مرة بخلاف صيد. Here, if someone, he will commit the mahdur more than one time. For example, he will, wear or like a hat or put a hat on his head or cover his head more than one time. And he didn't pay the fidya. قال ومن كرر محظورا من جنس. So if you will do the same mahdur more than one time. So for example, if he cut, one fingernail, and then he will cut the rest of his fingernails. But in the first one, he didn't pay the fidya. If he will do the rest, how many fidya will have to pay? He will have only pay one fidya. قال, this is what he said, وَمَنْ كَرَّرَ مَحْظُورًا مِنْ جِنْسٍ. So we have, if you do repeatedly the same infraction at the same time, around the same time, he will do it repeatedly around the same time, and he didn't yet pay the fidya, he will pay it once. Now, one of the conditions need to be from jinsin wahid. So, for example, if he covered his head and then he cuts the fingernails, this is two. Therefore, you're going to be paying two fidya, even if he didn't pay for the first one. That's why the condition is to be from jinsin wahid. So, مثاله أن يقلم مرتين. مثاله, that to cut the finger or the toenails 2 times, or to wear clothes more than one time, or to shave more than one time. All of that. فإن عليه فدية واحدة. So he only has to pay fidya or observe one fidya. Fasting will be only 3 days, not 6 days. Feeding will be only six people. So here قال ولم يفدي فدا مرة واحدة. So, and he didn't yet pay the fidya, he will do it only one time for all what he has done, with the condition to be the same thing, so the same, related to the same action. بخلاف صيد, this will not apply for the hunting. ومن فعل محظورا من أجناس فدا لكل مرة. But when he commit the mahdur from different types, then he has to pay the fidya for every type. Example, as we mentioned, the person covered his head and he cut the fingernails, and he wear, for example, a shirt. For everyone, they require fidya. Because are different types of action. فدا لكل رفض إحرامه أو لا. here there's another opinion. قال ومن فعل محظورا من أجناس فدى لكل مرة. Example that as mentioned, wearing a shirt, put fragrance, shave, cut fingernails. These are 4 different types. فعليه 4 فداء. So he's going to make fidya 4 times. According to the madhab. It's very clear here. قال مع أن موجبها واحد أو موجبها واحد وهو ذبح شاة أو إطعام 6 مساكين لكل مسكين نصف صاع أو صيام 3 أيام. Everyone has to be end up resulting in one of the 3 things: fasting, feeding, or offer a sacrifice. قال, if we try to argue with this or like analyze this opinion, to require or obligate fidya for every action, it has kind of nadar, need to some more reflection. Because there is a ruling in the Sharia, if the result is the same, so it will not be, important to consider all the types of the violation if the way to correct it is the same. So here he's given us an example which is make it very clear. Someone, for example, you have nawaqidul wudu, what to break the wudu. There's different types of nawaqidul wudu. Not for every naqid you make wudu. Someone went to the bathroom, someone like had, gas, this. So not every time he has a naqid, he make wudu for the naqid. He has something that one naqid, they can be like, many of them, and any of them will have caused the breaking of the wudu, but to come back to the state of the purity of, from the hadath is to make one wudu. قال إذا كان الموجب واحدا فلا يضر اختلاف الأجناس ولذلك لو أحدث رجل ببول وغائط وريح ومس ذكر وأكل لحم إبل according to the Hanbali لشهوة فهذه 5 موجبات فهل نقول توضأ 5 مرات. So he given us the example. I really literally explain read what he said. قال, if someone will break his wudu by urine, feces, gas, eating the meat of a camel, touching the private, etc. So these are known, as we have studied, is from nawaqidul wudu. These are 5 that require the wudu. Will we say to the person to make 5 wudu so he can get back to the state of purity? لا لأن الموجب واحد. Why? No. Why? Because the result is the same. The result is the same. So here, the scholar here, the Sharah, he's not analyzing the violation that require a fidya. He's analyzing the ihram kind of has a defect in it, how you get back in to the ihram. You see the analysis that is being done, how we look from different perspectives. Someone is in a state of wudu and there's a hadath. To get back to the state of wudu, you just redo your wudu, right? Now, if we look at the hadath itself, what break the wudu, that's what is not the point, because the point is to get back to the state of your purity. So that someone is in a state of ihram, he make an infraction, who's really, get him out, a defect in that state of ihram. He want to get back to the state of ihram. So what have a defect in the state of ihram, 1 action, 2 action, 3 action is going to be the same, because what he want to get back to the state of ihram. So the mujab, what get him back to the state of ihram or to the complete state of ihram is the fidya. So instead of looking at how many action he has done, we look at the spirit to get back to the state complete of the haram. This is how the analogy, the qiyas that he's made. So to make the qiyas exactly like the wudu. So the concern for someone who broke the wudu is to get back to the state. So someone will tell you, I'm going to ujaddid, I renew my wudu. You're not going to tell him, what have you done? You know, so he might have did, like as in this example, 5 things that every one of them will have broken the wudu. So the spirit here is what correct the situation is one thing, then whatever cause it, if it's multiple things, then the action will be the same one. It's not about, expiation, of a sin, that the sin to be forgiven, you have to do the expiation. So this is an analogy and this is an opinion, but also we need to regard the opinion of the author, which also strong. Why? Because if we look from the other angle, every infraction need to be treated on its own. It's like every infraction is like someone, for example, commit a sin. Every sin require repentance on its own. But you can make, a dua for Allah to repent, to accept, to accept the repentance for all the sins. But every sin require a regret and a promise to not come back. From this regard, if we look at it as a violation, then every jins need to be, treated on its own. You see, so subhanAllah, from two perspectives, you will have 2 analogy, and then also the author opinion, it has its justification. So according to the author, every type of violation, it requires a fidya, but many type or many violation from the same type is only require 1 fidya if it wasn't already paid. Well, قال رفض إحرامه أو لا. رفض إحرامه أو لا. رفض الإحرام. This might be a situation, but someone will not be able to stop the ihram. Someone is not be able to stop the ihram. Someone is in prayer, and you decide, or you remember something. You remember something on the stove. Said, I need to stop the prayer. You stop. And then when you come back, you redo your prayer again. But for the ihram, you cannot stop it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةِ. So the ihram only can stop by tahallul. And then it's either to finish it, or there's circumstances who have person to not finish it, like al-ihsar, or like sickness or things like that. But someone said, رفض إحرامه, he stopped his ihram. رفض إحرامه, so he's saying, if this action done before or after he cancel his ihram, he has to pay the fidya. Because according to the author, you cannot enter your ihram at, just, on your own decision. But some scholar, they say if someone cancel his ihram, he's like, that's tahallul. But in reality, there's no such a thing. Because if someone get into the haram, he has to finish. And if he cannot finish, he will make the tahallul. And the tahallul, in state of ihsar, he has to offer a sacrifice. That's why some of the scholars, they say if someone cancels his ihram, he has to offer a sacrifice, because he cannot get out of the nusuk after he intended the nusuk. The option that someone has when he make the ihram is either to finish, for example, umrah, complete the umrah, to make tahallul if he make the condition in the beginning. For example, you say, Ya Allah, labbaik Allahumma umrah, but if this happen, I will undo my ihram. I'll be traveling and I have a call, something urgent. So I already make the intention to do such a thing. الثالث الحصر أو الإحصار. الثالث is to have إحصار, which is someone will encounter an obstacle preventing him from getting to the haram. Besides that, someone like he get to Mecca and then he decide, I better cancel the ihram, I don't feel like it. Say, no, you cannot do that because you already start the ihram. So here the author saying, if he cancel it or not, whatever he does, as a violation from the ihram, because canceling the ihram, it does not mean that he's out of the ihram. So the action, for example, say, I cancel my ihram, and he go take a shower, put perfumes and everything. He said, you have to give a fidya on the perfume that you have done. He said, but I canceled my ihram. He said, how did you cancel it? Did you finish your nusuk? Did you make a shart? Did you find any difficulty to get to Mecca? Those are the option for someone to stop his ihram.
What does a fidya mean?
Fidya? Fidya is fidya, ransom. Fidya. We studied it last week. If you want more details, inshallah, you can go in last week fidya. There's a lot of details in it. Huh? The fidya is the expiation. So if someone make a violation into the Hajj, he has to pay fidya. So this is called fidya al-adha. And he has an option. It's either to fast 3 days, or to feed 6 needy people, or to offer sacrifice. Okay. No, you go back to the lecture, because we analyze it all, and is in the Surah Al-Baqarah. Or after the class, I will show you. Huh? Fadl Muhammad, do you have a question?
I had a question. So when you say the person gets out of the ihram upon finishing, for example, because his hair, he does perfume. So for every one, is it just told you have to pay at least one fidya, or is it for each action?
That's what we were analyzing and discussing. According to the author, according to the school of thought, which we said is very justified and depends from which angle you look at it. If you look at it like the wudu, then he will pay only one. But if you look at it as a violation, that I need to correct that violation, not to get back my state of ihram. Because in reality, the violation didn't break my ihram. The violation need to be corrected. So, if someone will do many times the violation of one action, and he didn't pay yet fidya, he will pay one. For example, someone he took, that finger clipper, like nail clipper, and he will cut one. By cutting, one fingernail, he already has to pay the fidya. What if he cut them all? So he did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times. Tell him how much I'm gonna pay fidya. Tell him you pay only one. Why? Because this violation is from one type. We're talking about fingernails. For example, he covered his head, and then he felt like refreshed, and then the sun is out back. He covered his head, or like he's cold, and then he did it many times, and he said, it's forbidden. You cannot do that. So he said, oh, I was cold and everything. So he said, what? How can I correct that? He said, you pay fidya. He's gonna tell you, I've been doing it for the whole night. They say, no, you only pay one fidya. Okay? Now the other case, someone, he cut his fingernails, one. So this is one type. And then he covered his head, and then he felt very cold. He put like clothes, you know. And then he say, what are you doing? He said, yeah, I'm being cold. You say, you don't have the right to. They said, yeah, I know, but they said, you have to put back your. So I said, how many fidya? You're gonna say, wearing the clothes fidya, covering the head fidya, and cutting the fingernails fidya. So those are gonna be three, according to the author. Huh? I'm not gonna tell you the strongest opinion. Depends. Depends on the person. Depends when you are in Hajj. You will be merciful on people. Because if you're gonna pay fidya is gonna be like $100 to $150. So if you're gonna do them with ignorance, then you're gonna make them like, pay another Hajj. It will be difficult. So it depends. We have one time he was traveling the whole time with the bus in wearing a shirt, and he has covering from the bottom with the ihram, izar, and wearing a shirt. He told me he is forbidden. He said, I'm cold. I said, you can cover with this. He said, no. He's an old person, and he was insisting. So sometimes there's people, subhanAllah, you need to be nice. Rahim. No, we're gonna study it now. No. Yeah, that's any question from this? Okay. Yes. Yeah. The one who has what? Intercourse. Yes. Before the tahallul, the Hajj is void and he has to pay fidya.
So does that mean after the fidya, the Hajj will still balance?
No, it's gone. The Hajj is void by the action, but that action was forbidden. Then to expiate for that action, it required to offer badana, a camel. And the Hajj is void. After the first tahallul will be different according to some scholars. He will pay the fidya and he'll continue his Hajj. Because he did 3/4 of the Hajj. Or 2/3 of the Hajj. Because he's Arafah and then he did two action of the tahallul and he didn't finish the third one and he had the intercourse. So that will pay the fidya, but his Hajj, he'll finish his Hajj. The other one, he'll pay the fidya, he finishes Hajj, and he has to repeat that Hajj. Well, no, I said no. No, they will. Depends. Might be one person only. If the other one was forced and not accepting, then they will not. Their Hajj will not void. That's what he said here. We were reading it. قال وإن طاوعته. If she agree, then she will have the same hukm. If she was not agreeing, then she will not. ويسقط بنسيان فدية لبس وطيب وتغطية رأس دون وطء وصيد وتقليم وحلاق. Here we're gonna have different of opinion, of course. Look what he said. ويسقط بنسيان. يسقط, it means it becomes non-required to pay the fidya if it was done by way of forgetfulness. Someone covered his head, just forgetting. The kafara of it is to uncover his head. Like someone, he forget to pray. What is the kafara of forgetting to pray? Is to pray when you remember it. وَيَسْقُطُ بِنِسْيَانٍ. What will be, with the way of forgetfulness, that someone should not pay the fidya. The author specified only few acts, not all of them. So applying the forgetfulness, and which will be like someone will be forgiven to not paying the fidya because he forget, only in the case of lubsin, if he wear clothes, watibin, if he will put perfume, wataghtiyati ra'sin, if he will cover his head. This will not be applied for 1. Intimate intercourse, 2. Saydin, hunting, 3. Taqlimin, cat finger or toenails, 4. Hilaqin, shaving. واضح? The question, if someone forget, why we choose some and the other not? Here, there's, kind of a long conversation and argument about this one. If we apply the principle of forgetfulness, therefore, none of these actions required to pay the fidya. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. واضح? So this is one of the opinions. If we apply the principle of forgetfulness, that Allah will forgive you and you forget, so why you specify some and other no? So here, for example, he given us قال أولا الدليل ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. البقرة 286. Oh Allah, do not call us accountable and do not regard any of our action if it's done by way of forgetfulness or mistake. We didn't, there's no intention in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ahzab, ayah number 5, وَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ فِي مَا أَخْطَأْتُمْ بِهِ. There's no blame on you in anything that you have done by mistake because you didn't intend it. ثالثا, third, قول الله تعالى من كفر بالله من بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره. Being forced, you're being pushed against your will to do an action, Allah will not take it in consideration. رابعا من السنة قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله تعالى تجاوز عن أمتي الخطأ والنسيان وما استكرهوا عليه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not regard, the action done by way of mistake. Someone did it with no intention to do it. They didn't have the intention to do it. Nisyan, forgetfulness. Istukrihu alayhi, being forced to do it. Khamisan, this is all I'm giving you the adillah that the sharah introduced in the sharh to show, what was the reason to specify some action and other not, when the principle is forgetfulness for everything. Anyone who didn't intend the disobedience, then he cannot be called disobedient. Therefore, if he's not disobedient, no blame will be, resulted. There will not be blame followed a non-disobedient. Because someone, for example, he made a mistake, he said, I didn't know. I totally forget. Told him, no, you have to pay for it because you are disobedient. Say, I didn't disobey. Huh? طيب. But what is actually is good to, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the way, in the Sayd, قال دون صيد, he excludes the Sayd. Allah said in the Quran, وَمَنْ قَتَلَهُ مِنْكُمْ مُتَعَمِّدًا. Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 95. And whoever who killed the Sayd متعمدا, deliberately, I mean with full intention, there's planning, he planned to do it. So if someone, for example, he's like, he's into hunting, he just saw an animal and he has a rifle, or like before he has, a bow, so he shot, and then by way of forgetfulness, you forget that he's, those days people, they say like in state of ihram, days, weeks sometimes, and more. Therefore, applying the principle which is in the heart of the Sunnah, and of course in the Quran, as we have mentioned, in 4 ayat, in actually 3 ayat, and the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is in Ibn Majah wal Hakim, وهو صحيح على شرط الشيخين, then there will not be fidya for any one of them. There will not be fidya from any one of them. Why? Because there's a nisyan. That's because someone did it out of forgetfulness. What is the analogy of the school of thought of the author in specifying part of them and excluding others? What is the analogy? The analogy is al-itlaf. Al-itlaf is you have done something that you cannot repair. Look, if you take them one by one, قال دون وطئ, if someone commit the intercourse, he cannot erase it. That's it, it's done. If someone kill an animal, he cannot bring it back to life. If someone cut the fingernails, he cannot stick them back. If someone will shave, he cannot put back his hair. All the other ones, they can be done. If you wear clothes, you can take it off. If you put a perfume, you can wash it. If you cover your head, you can uncover it. So that is the analogy that they have. But as with the scholar, they're saying this is not enough analogy, as we have a principle in the Sharia of the forgetfulness, that someone is not accountable or blamed for the forgetfulness, therefore he should not pay the fidya. And this is only to give you the different opinion between the scholar, rahimahullah ta'ala. Any question? Yes.
The state of haram, how does it look like 100, 200 years ago? Because nowadays, nobody will see an animal around the area. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because it's kind of a jungle around the haram.
Yeah, it was a desert, not jungle.
How can animal jungle could that be nowadays?
Now?
Nowadays.
Nowadays, for example, killing those hammam, the birds, that will apply here. It's haram to kill the birds, to hand the birds, to hand anything in al-haram. In the haram, being in state of haram or not in a state of haram is haram, so it's haram. Outside of the haram, for the one who is state of haram, is also forbidden to hand or to kill any animal, except the animal that we have mentioned called al-fawasiq. Any question? It's the same thing that I'm reading, right? There's some differences, I know. Here in the book I have, they put them into parentheses. طيب. Do we have a conclusion in this video, right? So why the author has excluded الوطء والصيد والتقليم والحلاق? Because of the itlaf, which is mean you cannot repair it. And itlaf, you took something, like you have wasted something. But the principle of forgetfulness, to not be blamed because of forgetfulness, is stronger than the principle of itlaf. That's why the strongest opinion here will be, whatever done by way of forgetfulness will not result in paying the fidya. But according to the author, as we have mentioned, it does. Now, there's another case between these two cases, important. What if someone needs to wear clothes? He knows it's forbidden, but he needs to wear them. What will be the answer? Say, wear them and pay fidya. Someone needs to shave because he has a need, like the hadith that is very well known, and which was the reason of revelation in Surah Al-Baqarah. قالوا من كان مريضا أو به أذى من رأسه. When he came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I didn't know that you came to this level of hardship, to see, like he see lice on his head. You can see it. So this is a need he need to shave his head. So I say, go ahead, shave it, but pay the fidya. See the difference here? The other person shaved forgetting that he's in a state of ihram. Then he remembered. Said, what should I do? Said, why did you shave? He said, Wallahi, I totally forget. He said, if you forget, that's fine. So this is one opinion, because he forget. According to the madhab, he said, no, we have to pay. See this difference? But if someone need to shave his head, why? Because he has like harm, he has a disease. Tell him, yes, shave your head, but you have to pay the fidya. So you can use this rukhsa by the fidya. Like someone, he need to travel in Ramadan. Tell them, go travel and you can break your fast if you need to, or if you prefer to, but make it up after. You need to shave your head, but pay the fidya. واضح? That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كان منكم مريضا أو بأذى من رأسه ففدية من صيام أو صدقة أو نسك. طيب. So if we summarize the fidya here according to the chapter, so we have the first category is for those who does it, or like those who do the action with knowledge. So this is a violation, they have to pay the fidya. The second, they do it because of a need, like someone has hurt or disease and he need, for example, to shave his hair, or someone is very cold, he need to wear clothes, things like that. If it happen, say, if you're gonna wear, you have to pay the fidya. He said, I have to wear, so he'll wear. He get the permission to do this forbidden act, but because of a reason, because of a need, but yet he has to pay the fidya. The third category is when someone, he has an excuse to not be blamed for what he had done because of ignorance, or because of forgetfulness, or because of ikrah, he was forced to do it. So in these three, you can see that there's no intention. Forced against his will. Forgetfulness, he didn't have any intention. Jahl, he didn't know at all. وهذه قاعدة العذر بالجهل. العذر بالجهل only works for the action which are not معلوم من الدين بالضرورة. قاعدة الجهل، قاعدة العذر بالجهل will not work or only work for certain condition, not in all the condition. Someone, for example, say, I didn't know. You're not going to be blamed because of him not knowing, ignoring, he does not know. But we say not everything. When it comes to such a thing, we can accept it. Because not everyone is doing Hajj every day. He said, I didn't know that I could not cut your fingernails. But if this will apply for someone for the Salah, say, why you don't pray? Say, oh, I didn't know that I have to pray. This is what we call معلوم من الدين بالضرورة. What does it mean, معلوم من الدين بالضرورة? معلوم is like, it is known by the obvious fact to accept Islam. So accepting Islam comes with a set of commands that are, known by the fact to be submitting one's will to Allah. Say, for example, say someone is using intoxicant, say this is forbidden. Say, I didn't know. Say, you cannot not know if you are a Muslim. So here, the forgiven or not regard the wrong action based on the ignorance of the person, that only works for certain condition, as I have mentioned. For this, yes, it does. For this third category, according to the madhab, he will accept some and exclude some, as we have mentioned earlier. But according to the opinion that we have mentioned, as he's saying here, الشارح قال والصحيح أن جميعها تسقط. And when I say shara here, I'm referring to the book that, we have many books that we've been using. We have the commentary on this book, on the Zaad Al-Mustaqni of Al-Shinqiti. And then we had also the extensive book of Al-Mughni ibn Qudama, which is actually the mother of the Hanbali school. And we have also the book that we're referring to is Al-Sharh Al-Mumta for a scholar Ibn Al-Uthaymin rahimahullah ta'ala. So here I'm saying what he's saying, so I'm reporting that even though he's Hanbali, following the school of the Hanbali school of thought, but he's saying that وَالصَّحِيحُ أَنَّ جَمِيعَهَا تَسْقُطُ. He said, after analysis, all of them will not require to pay the fidya, because we have the principle of forgetfulness is higher than the principle of the itlaf that we have mentioned. The same, and subhanallah, if you see, and this is really very strong opinion, and actually the strongest. If someone in Ramadan eats and drinks by way of forgetfulness, will he make up for that day? He doesn't. Why? Because he was nasi. There's a lot of ahadith in this. The same for the salah. He will not be blamed. He only pray when he remembers the salah. من نام عن صلاة أو نسيها فليصليها إذا ذكرها. فليصليها إذا ذكرها. طيب. We'll take the break for the salah and we come back. And then we'll give you the break after that, inshallah. Barakallahu feek. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. طيب. So, alhamdulillah, we came to the conclusion in the fidya as the principle of forgetfulness will be applied on any action in the Sharia. Any action. Fasting, ihram, any action will not be called accountable. Any question in that or question mark? And this is a principle. As long as someone he cannot understand the command, he's forgiven. Someone is shouting on a person to fulfill something with different language that he can understand. Can you blame this person who's looking at him like this? You cannot blame. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will only call accountable the one who understands the speech, the command. That's why it needs to have the age of puberty, so they have the maturity to understand. He has to be sane, because when he's sane he cannot understand. He has to be like in full consciousness, so the one who faints he cannot understand. Or like the one who's intoxicated, he will not be, he will be sinful of the intoxicant he did, but he will not be accountable on things that he does in that. You cannot call him accountable because he cannot understand what he's saying. And then the forgetfulness add to it. Forgetfulness at that moment he doesn't know. Wal-ikrahu, and to be forced. So absence of aql, mind, of comprehending the command, or absence of recalling the command, or forced to do it against one's will. All of them are out of the accountability. And Allah mentioned them in the end, the last ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah. رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا إِن نَسِينَا وَأَخْطَأْنَا. To the end. وَكُلُّ هَدْيٍ أَوْ إِطْعَامٍ فَلِمَسَاكِينِ الْحَرَمِ. Now we're going to go to further details. In the fidya, كل هدي ذكر المؤلف مكان الهدي، فكل هدي يهديه الإنسان إلى البيت سواء كان هدي تطوع وهدي التطوع إلى آخره. وكل هدي قال أو إطعام فلمساكين الحرم. And this is, we're going to discuss it. Every sacrifice offered or every feeding need to be directed and offered to the needy ones in Al-Haram. Needy people that they live in the boundaries of Al-Haram in Mecca. However, he's saying وفدية الأذى واللبس ونحوهما. وفدية الأذى, the fidya, the ransom, the expiation that is paid in violating any of the forbidden acts of al-ihram, like such as, he's saying al-lubsu, to wear the clothes, وَنَحْوِهِمَا, and the like of that, وَدَمُ الْإِحْصَارِ, and the sacrifice offered when someone encountered obstacle or he could not follow his get to Al-Haram. حَيْثُ وُجِدَ سَبَبُهُ, it will be offered where he going to be stopped. For example, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they stopped in Al-Hudaybiyah. They slaughter and they offer sacrifice in Al-Hudaybiyah. And therefore, it will be offered there. Someone in his way, and he could not, for example, go beyond a certain place. He stopped at the boundaries, for example, of Sham. He could not get to Mecca. He stopped at Jeddah, for example. He will offer the sacrifice in Jeddah, that's the ihsar, and he will distribute it there. وَيُجْزِئُ الصَّوْمُ بِكُلِّ مَكَانٍ. As for the fasting, at any place. It's either in haram, outside the haram, when someone goes back to his home, at any place. Let's give some details in this mas'ala. So the hadi, the sacrifice, it should be distributed where? In al-haram. In al-haram. But here we have, kind of, let's go in details to understand it, and we'll see the proper way how to do it. So if this is not a general rule, it should be in the haram, but how? For example, هدي المتعة والقران. هدي المتعة والقران. هدي المتعة والقران is the sacrifice offered by the Hajji when he fulfill or observe the Hajj Qiran or Hajj Mut'ah. This one, the hadi need to be sacrificed in al-haram. قال ولا تحرقوا رؤوسكم حتى يبلغ الهدي محله. So the hadi need to reach its place. What is its place is al-haram. And this type of hadi is hadi shukran. So you're making this hadi as a testimony of gratefulness to Allah. Therefore, it's not obligated that this hadi will be only distributed for the people of the haram, because we have millions of sacrifice, and there's no millions who live in the haram. That's a simple analogy. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال in Surah Al-Hajj, يأتوك رجالا كالذين يأتين ليشهدوا منافع لهم ويذكروا اسم الله على ما رزقهم ويذكروا اسم الله في أيام معلومات على ما رزقهم من بهيمة الأنعام فكلوا منها وأطعموا البائس الفقير. Eat from it. It's like al-udhiyah. وأطعموا البائس الفقير, and give to the needy people, give to the poor people. Here in the ayah, he didn't say give to the poor people in al-haram. So if you take, after you slaughter it in the haram, and you take the meat with you, and you travel with it, and you give it to poor people all around, the place where you go, it's allowed. And actually, that's what they do. They pour it in ships, and they send it, subhanallah, to many countries. So if someone will offer the sacrifice of tamatta or qiran in Mecca, then he take the meat with it, and to send it, for example, give it in Jeddah or give it in any place, outside of the haram, قال there's no blame and objection for that. However, the hadi that is offered because of expiation of a violation, like the one that we have mentioned, except the side put on the side, the hunting put on the side now, it is allowed to give it to the haram or in the place where the violation is done. So the fidya, when someone is in haram, he needs to be distributed in the haram. Or to be distributed when the action is done. Like, for example, having to shave the head far from Mecca because someone cannot get, he has, need to do it. if he has to give a sacrifice, he can distribute it where he had made the violation. If you call it violation, I mean, when he did the prohibited action. And when we say, for example, if the sacrifice is offered in Mecca for this type of sacrifice and distributed in Mecca, not for the resident of Mecca, for anyone who's in Mecca, it might be some people, Hujjaj, they are poor, you give them as long as they are in Mecca. The first dalil, the first evidence of the sacrifice can be distributed at the place where the forbidden action was committed or was done because of a need. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أمر كعب ابن عجرة أن يفدي بشاة في محل فعل المحظور. And this is hadith أخرجه البخاري. When he came to the Prophet ﷺ and as that he has like hurt in his head, he has lysis, and he was in pain. So the Prophet ﷺ told him shave and offer the fidya. So it was done in the place before getting to Mecca. The other one, when someone he's in Mecca and he'll offer the sacrifice, he need to be distributed there as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he commanded Ali to give away the meat of the camels that he slaughtered. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he offered 100 camels. He slaughtered with his hand, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, بيده الشريفة, how many camels? And he left the rest to Ali to finish. 100 camels. How many camels the Prophet ﷺ slaughtered? And he gave the rest to Ali and he told him, put from every camel a piece of meat, pour it in qidr, big pot, and he ate from the maraqah. So he ate from all the camels by just getting from the source of the pot in which every piece from every camel, they take some piece from every camel and put them, and the rest they give it away. So when he commanded Ali to give sadaqah, he didn't tell them only give it to the resident of the haram. He said give sadaqah to everyone. Someone who live in the haram, someone came from the outside the haram, etc. What is the answer? How many camels the Prophet ﷺ? It's not in the fiqh. It's a quiz. No, it's 100 camels. The Prophet ﷺ sacrificed 100 camels. But from the 100, he slaughtered a number, and the rest he told to Ali to finish the rest. From the 100, how many camels he slaughtered? I mean, it's going to be easy for you to remember. He slaughtered the number of the year that he lived, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 63. And then he gave the rest to the Prophet, to Ali. We have to check it back. That's what I remember since I was there. So he slaughtered, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the number of his life, subhanAllah, the years he lived. So I need the evidence now. Ya Allah. Alhamdulillah. قال في مسند الإمام أحمد حديث صحيح حديث جابر في حجة الوداع وكان جماعة الهدي الذي أتى به النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي أتي به عليه 100 فنحر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بيده 63 وأعطى عليا فنحر ما غبر وأشركه في هديه. حديث في المسند and صحيح. So you remember that. طيب. الصحيح. In the Siyar, you find it in the Siyar. One of the things in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad, but hadith and Sahih, you find it everywhere. In the hadith of Jabir, is mentioned by Jabir ibn Abdullah, the one who narrated the hadith, the long hadith of Hajj al-Wada. It's in the Sahih. When you say Sahih, Sahih al-Bukhari wa Muslim. Jabir. طيب. قال وفدية الأذى واللبس ونحوهما ودم الإحصار حيث وجد سببه. We already mentioned that. فدية الأذى, we have the takhir, the option between the three, fasting, feeding, and sacrifice. If you want to, the evidence of that is Surah Al-Baqarah, again 196 Surah Al-Baqarah. Why call it adha? Fidyatu adha. Adha is harm. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the ayah 196, قال أو به أذى من رأسه. أذى من رأسه. And he has hurt or pain or disease from his own head, so he's allowed to shave. So they call it fidyat adha, referring to know what is the fidyat adha. So it's not like the fidya, it's really related to harm, because people, they do it without any harm or without any being ill, So called adha because in the ayah Allah mentioned adha. Like the bay'ah, we call it bay'atun nisa, not bay'ah proper only for the women, but because the item of the bay'ah, they've been mentioned in Surah Al-Mumtahna, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, Ya ayyuhan nabi, idha ja'aka al-mu'minatu yubay'anaka fa. So all the items they call bay'atun nisa. It doesn't mean like only for the women, but for everyone. Just to see the nomination that been given, or the denomination are given based on this that. So that's what we call it, fidyatul adha. وَاللُّبْسُ وَنَحْوِهِمَا, so such as the clothing, the wearing of the clothes. وَنَحْوِهِمَا, it means those mahdhurat that we have mentioned. Tisa. The mahdhurat that we have mentioned, but some of them that require fidyatu adha, called fidyatu adha. ودم الإحصار حيث وجد سببه. ودم الإحصار, so الإحصار بمعنى المنع. الإحصار, to be not able to continue your way to Mecca. That's al-ihsar. Man'a, to be prevented or encounter any obstacle to continue the path to the nusuk. Al-ihsaru, in the past, it was like more a physical ihsar. When I say physical ihsar, it's like someone, he'll find an obstacle to get to Mecca, like enemy, army, war, battle, something. But also will apply for ihsar any condition or circumstances that can occur, preventing the person to get to the Mecca. Sickness, short of money, loss of his money, loss of his way, he's late, he cannot make it anymore. That's ihsar. He will make the intention of the ihsar, and he untie his ihram, and he make the tahallul over there by offering a sacrifice. طيب ويجزئ الصوم بكل مكان we mentioned والدم شاة أو سبع بدنة وتجزئ عنها بقرة. طيب when we say sacrifice, what are the sacrifice? We already I think mentioned this before. The sacrifice شاة الشاه. What is الشاه? الشاه is the cattle from sheep or goat. Sheep or goat. Or the seventh part or one part from seven of the camel. So the seventh of a camel or a whole sheep or a whole goat. And he said, وَتُجْزِئُ عَنْهَا بَقَرَةً. If you don't have camel, you can replace it by a cow. And a cow also will be seven. So the cow will be enough for 7 sacrifice. That's why in the udhiyah, if someone is going to offer an udhiyah in the Eid, he can share with other 6 people on one camel or one cow. But everyone will have one goat, one share. Okay. حديث جابر قال نحرنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عام الحديبية البدنة عن 7 والبقرة عن 7. In the year of the Hudaybiyah, we have offered sacrifice when we were the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, the camel for 7 people and the cow for 7 people. So 7 will take part in one cow. Let's just to think of the schedule. Should we continue or we'll continue, right? When should we take the break? 7? 7 is good? 7? Let's continue for up to 6:30 is good, and then we start علوم القرآن. What do you think? طيب. Let's continue another 10 minutes or so and then we start. طيب. باب جزاء الصيد. جزاء الصيد. Now, when someone kills an animal, what will be the fidya in that? In as-sayd, we call it jaza, like compensation. How can you compensate the killing of an animal by another animal? Kind of that. قال. Now, the most important to understand, let's go to the ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah. The ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah. The ayah in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 95. Ayah number 95. Let's see, pull this ayah from Surah Al-Ma'idah. Based on the reading of this ayah, the whole, inshallah, this part of paragraph will be very easy to understand. So, if you go Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 95. I'm trying to go to ayah 95 from Surah Al-Ma'idah. 95. طيب. I read 94. يا أيها الذين آمنوا ليبلونكم الله بشيء من الصيد تناله أيديكم ورماحكم ليعلم الله من يخافه بالغيب فمن اعتدى بعد ذلك فله عذاب أليم. Or you have believed Allah will surely test you through something of the game that your hands and spears can reach, that Allah may make evident those who fear Him fear him unseen. Let's see, or you have believed Allah will certainly make a trial of you, a trial, this will be more befitting the Arabic one, of you with something in the matter of the game that is well within reach of your hand and your lances, that Allah may test who fears him unseen. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the unseen. So this ayah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test for the believer, and it really happened when they were in the state of ihram and they have animals comes around them, animals that they usually hunt. They were walking around them. So they were at the reach of their hand and their spear. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is a test for you to see whom among you fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bil-ghayb. Fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bil-ghayb. You see it with your hand and you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent it to you as a test. And you know it is forbidden to you to touch these animals. Why? Because you are in a state of ihram. I would like to emphasize something very important that someone of the scholar he mentioned it. What is one of the wisdom to not kill the hand during the ihram? Subhanallah, when someone in a state of ihram, you are traveling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, the travel to Allah, to the most merciful, need to, subhanallah, engage all the mercy into the whole your system. That's first. Which require from you to be peaceful with everything. Peaceful with yourself, peaceful with the universe, peaceful with the environment around you. You don't have the right to cut tree, you don't have to harm anything. The animal that is for you halal to hunt, you don't have the right to do it. So that spirituality, subhanallah, of being in a very peace mode, if you can say, with yourself and with your nature and with everything around. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested the believer to see their belief in the unseen. قال فمن اعتدى بعد ذلك فله عذاب أليم. And whoever transgresses after that, for him is a painful punishment. Now the ayah that we're going to study here, قال يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقتلوا الصيد وأنتم حرم. Or you have believed it, do not kill صيد, they call it game, صيد, hunting. While you are in the state of ihram, while you are in the state of ihram, and whoever of you kills it intentionally, you see here in the ayah, there's an intention, not by mistake or by, way of forgetfulness. Intentionally, the compensation, that's al-jaza'u. You see, قال ومن قتله منكم متعمدا فجزاء مثل. The penalty is an equivalent. The compensation is an offering brought to the Kaaba of a domestic animal equivalent to the one he killed. واضح? So if someone, for example, intentionally he killed an animal, how he going to expiate this sin that he commit or this violation? He has to offer sacrifice a domestic animal. So animal that is being offered by Allah to the people to eat from the cattle that you know. Which animal? So we have here condition, look. First, to be delivered to the Kaaba. Second, to be, equivalent to the animal that he killed. The equivalence, it need to be decided, as he's saying here, قال, as judged by two just men among you. Two, قال ذوي عدل منكم أو كفارة قال ذوي عدل يحكم به ذوي عدل منكم هديا بالغ الكعبة, a sacrifice offered in the Kaaba. Or كفارة طعام مساكين, or كفارة or an expiation, the feeding of needy people. The needy people will be the evaluation of that domestic animal to be offered as compensation or equivalent to the animal killed. For example, say it's a goat. How much is the goat? $150. Then if he choose to feed masakin, he will feed $100, $150 of value. Every miskin, we said, is nusfu sa or mud, 650 grams of food. Or he will fast. And we said the fasting for every miskin, he will fast 1 day. If we evaluate the miskin feeding 1 mud, therefore we have to calculate that. For example, a kilogram of rice or cooked and offered into meal, for example, will cost $5. 150 divided by 5, this is 30. So it will be like 30 days of fasting. أو عدل ذلك الصيام, needy people of the equivalent, or the feeding of needy people, or the equivalent of that in fasting. So this is the whole حكم of this part. واضح. طيب. Let's read then. قال في النعامة بدنة. في النعامة بدنة. قال نعامة. You know what is the نعامة, right? The ostrich, that's the نعامة, right? The ostrich, that's the نعامة. Whoever will kill an ostrich, he has to offer as equivalent a camel. Okay. Now, the same, an ostrich, the equivalent of it is a camel, بدنة. طيب. وحمار, now look then. He said وحمار الوحش وبقرته والأيل والثيتل والوعل بقرة. Okay, the other animal that can be handled. حمار الوحش وبقرته والأيل والثيتل والوعل بقرة. حمار الوحش is the wild donkeys, or like the type of the zebra. وبقرته, also the wild cow. Al-Ayili is kind of the deer. A-Thaytali or a Taytali is what they call them, the hart beast, kind of close to the deer family. Wal-Wa'li is the wild goat. All these animals are equivalent. If someone will kill any of these animals, he has to offer a cow as equivalent. Offer a cow as equivalent. والضبع كبش. والضبع كبش. الضبع is the hyena. The hyena is to offer sheep. والغزالة. والغزالة, the gazelle. عنز, a goat. والوبر والضب جدي. الوبر والضب are animals like, are not known here, but they call them kind of rock rabbit, type of the rabbit, big, like in the desert. And the dab is like the lizard, big lizards. Jadyun. Al-jadyu, the equivalent is a small goat. And of course, al-wabr, it has different, that's why we need to have an expert to tell you what are the equivalent of this type of animal. وَالْيَرْبُوعِ جَفْرَةٌ. This is the yarbu, like the mouse, but are like a desert mouse and not different like you see here. And they use there, they eat. This yarbu is kind of look like a mouse, but it can be like close to the rabbit. It's between them. قال فيه جفرة. والجفرة is also from the type of the goat, small like the goat. والأرنب, the arnab, قال والأرنب عناق. Al-anaq is also a smaller goat, it has 3 months. Al-arnab is the rabbit. والحمامة شاه. الحمامة شاه. الحمامة is the dove that you see in the haram. Whoever who kill hamam, he has to offer a shah. A shah is a goat or a sheep. Now, as you see in the saying of the author, he didn't mention any of the animal, the sea animals. He didn't mention any of the sea animals. Why? Because the sea animals is not forbidden in the state of ihram. Concerning this is forbidden for everyone who he is in a state of ihram. Now, there's this forbidden action to kill any animal when someone he is in a state of ihram or not in a state of ihram if he is in al-haram, in the boundaries of al-haram of Mecca or the boundaries of the haram of Medina. Is haram to kill any of animals. So he's saying here, قال وحكم يحرم صيده على المحرم والحلال. هذا باب صيد الحرم. Anyone who hunt or kill an animal inside the haram, the boundaries of Mecca and the boundaries of Medina, he will have, the same hukum, either he was in a state of ihram or not in a state of ihram. وحكم صيده كصيد المحرم, and the ruling to apply for such, violation is the same as we have mentioned, to see the equivalent or to see of animal is either to offer the sacrifice or the equivalent of money or the evaluation of that animal, and to offer it as needy people, to offer it as food for needy people, or to have that equivalent in fasting. طيب. قال also in الحرم يحرم قطع شجره وحشيشه الأخضر, and it is forbidden to cut tree or grass in الحرم, the green ones. What it means here, the green ones? It means that they are alive. If like dead trees, you can use them, but if they're still alive, growing, so it's haram to touch them. قال إلا الإذخر, إلا الإذخر, except الإذخر. What is الإذخر? This is a plant known in Mecca, but the people of Mecca, they use it for their needs. So it's been given an exception to make easy for the people. This type of plant, they use it in the houses, they use it in the graveyards, and they use it even in the in the iron smith works. So because it's easy to burn. So this is al-idkhar. The exception in the hadith of Abbas ibn Abd al-Muttalib, فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما حرم حشيشها قال يا رسول الله إلا الإذخر فإنه لبيوتهم وقبورهم. When the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said it's forbidden to cut or to touch the trees or any of the grass of the Mecca, or anything like anything green in Mecca. So the Prophet Al-Abbas radiallahu ta'ala said, Ya Rasulullah, except the idkhar, they use it for their homes and they use it in their graveyard and this is. So the Prophet ﷺ قال except the idkhar, إلا الإذخر. So he excludes the idkhar from that. There's other plants that they come, not like trees, not things. That also will take the same ruling as the idkhar. So like things like, say, weeds and things, that will not be considered. We're talking about trees and things that has life and it has known to be, plants. Of course, here the author didn't mention anything about how to correct if someone did, because there's no jaza for that. It's not mentioned, and here also in the school of thought, we don't have any mention of that. It will be then a repentance. That's what he said. قال ويحرم صيد المدينة ولا جزاء ويباح الحشيش للعلف وآلة الحرث ونحوه وحرامها ما بين عير إلى ثور. وحكم صيد كسيد المحرم ويحرم قطع شجر ويحرم صيد المدينة ولا جزاء. So concerning the Medina, as you see, is haram, but it does not have the hukum of the jaza. So it does not have the hukum of the jaza as the he's saying here, mashallah. صيد حرم المدينة حرام لكن حرمته دون حرمة حرم مكة. It is forbidden to kill any animal in Medina, but the prohibition is less serious than the one in Mecca. The one in Mecca, the equivalent of the animal to be offered as sacrifice need to be done in Mecca. So there's no such a thing, then the qiyas will not fall here, but it is haram to do it, but there's no jaza. There's no jaza. وأما حرم المدينة فمختلف فيه، ولكن القول الصحيح أن المدينة لها حرم وأنه لا يجوز الصيد فيه إلا أنه يفارق مكة بأن من أدخل حرمها صيدا فهو له، ومكة سبق أن المذهب يجب عليه إطلاق إلى آخره. So if anyone who has something that he get to haram, he will be still using it if he want from what he ever had to things. And there's a hadith ولا جزاء فيه والدليل أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يجعل فيه جزاء. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم didn't do in any of animal killed in Medina, in Haram al-Medina jaza, but it is forbidden. There's a narration in the narrated from Imam Ahmed, one narration قال إن فيه الجزاء إن فيه الجزاء, but this is other narration, but the majority of the scholars they're saying no, as he's mentioned here. ويباح الحشيش للعلف وآلة الحرث ونحوه. And in Medina, the hashish, or the type of the grass that exists, it can be used to feed the animals. It can be used to feed the animals and use it to help into the machine to plow the earth. Why? Because the people of Medina are people who has, the main job that they have, or the main activity that they master is az-zira'a, farming and agriculture. And the dalil of that is that the Prophet ﷺ give them the permission for that. قال, and then وحرمها ما بين عير إلى ثور وحرمها ما بين عير إلى ثور. And the boundaries of the haram of the Medina, حرم المدينة مسافة إلى آخره قال and ما بين عير وثور. So this is our two regions in Medina, and this is will define the borders of the haram of the Medina. ثور جبل صغير خلف أحد من الناحية الشمالية, and Thawr is a small mountain behind Uhud from the north side. Wa'ir, it's a small, a big mountain from the south side, southwest. عن المدينة جنوب ذي الحليفة, in the south side of ذي الحليفة. From the east side to the west, ما بين لابتيها فهو حرام. The لابتيها, the two stony lands. So from the stony land to the stony land, that's the border of Medina. And then from the other side is عير إلى ثور, from the mountain عير, from the other side إلى ثور. And this is, as we have mentioned, the borders. The border of Mecca, they've been not mentioned because are known in the Haram from before from the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. If there's any other masail, we'll have them inshallah in this time. If there's something important to mention, I will share it with you bi'idhnillah. We'll stop here for the fiqh, and next week we'll start the chapter Bab Dukhuli Makkah, Babi Dukhuli Makkah, the chapter of Dukhul Makkah. next time. In my mind always there's a class. So next time inshallah. طيب. We'll stop here بإذن الله. So when we resume, inshallah, when we resume, we start بباب دخول مكة. It's good. After Ramadan, inshallah, we'll enter Mecca. That's beautiful. Aywa. Ready for Hajj. Yes. Inshallah. Allah make it easy. طيب. The exam. When do you want to take the exam? Next week? After Ramadan? The first week after Ramadan? طيب. Yeah, Ibrahim. He looking at. Let's talk to Ibrahim, inshallah. No problem, inshallah, we can do it. Actually, we usually take the week of Ramadan off. That's the Eid. So you're gonna do it in the Eid? After the Eid. Okay. Hold on. So inshallah the Eid should be Ibrahim. So the student, they would like to have the exam after Ramadan. So the Eid should be inshallah ta'ala around 14 June, 15 June. So 14 will be, it is Thursday or Friday. So we'll be in Eid the 17th, and then the 24th will be the exam.
So the 14th, what day is the 14th?
The 14th is the Eid. 14 or 15 is going to be the Eid. So that will be Thursday and Friday. Then the 17th is going to be Sunday, but it's going to be Eid. So they will be eating the sweets and taking the exam. Yes or no? No? So the exam, they would like to have it on the 24th. And then when we're going to resume, is that right? Sunday is 24th, right? Or 20? Yes, Sunday is 24th. Then the week after should be the 1st of July. Huh?
Long time.
Yeah. Why in Ramadan? The second week of Ramadan.
What about between the two? I mean, the text is that they can go there and choose a date within Ramadan.
We want everybody to be satisfied. Huh? That's fine. So you do the exam in the morning, and we have a class in the evening. That will be fair. So we'll not miss, because we're going to have the Hajj is going to be in August. So we're going to have 1 month and 2 weeks before Hajj. So we'll prefer, if we'll do the 24th, we have a class and exam. It's possible. We can have a short one.
Well, we can have, I mean, since we accommodated the exam to the after Ramadan, maybe still we can accommodate to take the exam on Saturday.
That's good. So Saturday the 23rd is going to be the exam, and then the 24th we have the exam. Okay, that's a good deal. Huh? The dawra is going to be insha'Allah ta'ala, or we're going to have the dawra, by the way, which is part of the mahad. It's part of the mahad. The dawra insha'Allah ta'ala is going to be August the 1st. August the 1st. The dawra will be August the 1st. Actually, we can have the dawra, the book of the tajweed in the dawra, or we'll do it here.
How long did the book take? Like 3 weeks or?
I don't know.
Depends on how long.
Yeah. Yeah, the dawra is August the 1st, inshallah. Yeah, August the 1st, for 10 days. Okay, mark the calendar. The dawra is intensive course, dawra ilmiya, from the August 1st to August 10th or 11th, I don't know. But started August 1st, starting from after Asr to Isha, every day. And we'll have like few mutun. The first dawra happened last year. How many matan we did? We did, mashallah. Huh? Yeah, we had, mashallah, we have a risala Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani. البيقونية في الحديث, and we have the book of Ibn al-Qayyim, I think مفتاح دار السعادة, and for books, and book in علوم القرآن, introduction in علوم القرآن. Yeah, alhamdulillah, it was. خير إن شاء الله.
For the pages that have not been translated, is that Al-Mustaqni? Would you be like getting it together, or how would it work?
It's you translating it.
I mean, I did.
Well, we've been working on it. So what I have saying, I mean, that's how we're going to have reference. If the student, they take notes, and alhamdulillah, in the past we have a whole book of Aqidah, and we are working on other books, mashallah. And it's good to read it in Arabic. But we work on it. I mean, wish that some of the students would compile all what we've been doing, especially for the matan. It will be good, mashallah. خير إن شاء الله. على بركة الله. طيب, I'll give you the break now, and 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and we'll come back, okay? And we start with علوم القرآن.